My generation was the third generation to farm this land. Most of our neighbors had been on their farms for 3 generations, and I thought that was a great tradition to be able to continue. There's far fewer now. About half of my neighbors I had when I came back are gone, and the farms are gone. Well, I was always hoping that someone in the family could take over from the whole project once I was done with it. As I stepped down from being president of Kamut International, and my nephew, my sister's son, Trevor Blyth, steps up to taking over that role. Trevor, it's great to see you. You're looking good. How you been doing?
Well, doing all right. Just, hanging tight with, where we are and keeping on.
Well, that's great. Well, I wanted to talk to you about our 35th anniversary it's on us. Well, this is our 35th anniversary of actually introducing the ancient grain to the world.
It came from what was really originally we'll say 36 kernels. That's how it was sent to Montana originally. Our part of the story of KAMUT Brand wheat really starts with Bob initially seeing this obscure, unusual grain at the county fair in Fort Benton, Montana, in his childhood.
The story was that there's a fellow from our county who was in the Air Force stationed in Portugal, and he went to a bar one night, and the fellow next to him said, "Hey, would you like to see what I took out of a tomb in Egypt?" And he showed him this giant wheat, and the guy gave him 30 or 40 kernels he sent to his father in Montana, and they grew. And that was the first time I'd seen it in about 1963.
Fast forward a few years after that, he had an idea for a giant wheat snack. He asked my grandfather to find some of it. They found someone who had a jar of it in their basement. They obtained a sample of that, planted it in their in a small plot, and then eventually had enough to take to some food shows.
We didn't think of introducing it to the world when we started. My dad, just kind of an aside, decided to take a little jar to the very first food show we ever attended in Anaheim, California. It's the natural products show there. After 3 days and hundreds of people going by, one person was interested. The thing that really got me excited about the potential of this ancient grain was a friend of ours tried some pasta that was made out of it. She had terrible wheat sensitivities. And I was amazed that my father had given her some of our pasta made from our ancient grain. And I said, "Dad, you know she can't eat wheat. Why did you give that to her?" And he said, "Well, he says it's organic, isn't it?" But anyway, she called back the next day. And she said, "What is this stuff?" She said, "When I eat it, it makes me feel better."
And then people started coming up and reporting that they could eat these products made with KAMUT wheat when they could not eat other wheats, and they were amazed by that and wanted to know what this was.
That changed my whole outlook on this grain. It no longer was a novelty to me. Now it was something like, a gift from the Lord that was really placed in our hands to help people from problems with eating modern wheat and from other maladies that they experience.
The tendency in agriculture is to breed and select and change things to make them more economically efficient. And so he wanted to make sure that we didn't lose whatever inherent properties this grain had.
It's only grown organically. It has a wonderful flavor. It has healing properties. It's anti-inflammatory. 35 years later, we got tens of thousands of acres and shipping it, being grown organically in Montana, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, all over the northern prairies here, and we're shipping it all over the world.
When I started in 2005, we had no idea how this would grow and evolve. Eventually working with up to 200 organic farmers and thousands of customers, with the KAMUT brand being present in over 50 countries throughout the world. The experience of seeing products on store shelves worldwide was incredible. When I think about Bob, first of all, I think of him as this pioneer, in the sense that, he's really a trailblazer, someone who breaks down barriers and changes perceptions.
It's been an amazing story, quite an adventure, and we've talked several times about getting ready to pass the hat here from one generation to another, and I thought this 35th anniversary would be the perfect time to talk about that. My dad passed it on to me, and now I've been able to pass it on to Trevor.
The reason I'm so passionate about KAMUT and why this really excites me, why the opportunity, the grain in itself, it is amazing. It's rich, sweet, nutty, buttery taste. But then you add on top of that, supporting organic agriculture and doing things organically in a way that's healthy, not only for plants and people, but the environment. Personally, it's such an awesome responsibility to be given this opportunity. Not only is it a story of the Kamut story, but it's also a story of our family.
It's been 100 years now since my grandfather first started in 1920. So last year we had our 100th anniversary, and it's where my father was raised, where I was raised, where I raised my children. It was a great experience to work with my dad, and we worked together as partners for nearly 10 years before he retired.
I think it's a testament to your will and perseverance. You've said it, and I've heard it multiple times, when people tell you no, that's when you go to work.
You know, there's many things that we feel really good about having accomplished with our Kamut project over the last 35 years. The research that we've done to understand the difference between ancient wheat and modern wheat, it unlocked a whole new world of understanding for me that I'm trying to promote, that food should be your medicine, medicine should be our food. It starts with the soil, healthy soils that will then produce, if they're seeded with good seed, healthy plants will then lend themselves to producing healthy people and healthy food.
I see it as my role to further that. That's not quite my style, to be the trailblazer, but to build on the amazing foundation.
Yeah, it takes a special talent to maintain and improve and adapt something that's already going. That's a different talent than it is to start something from nothing. But you're geared to taking things to the next level. So that's what I'm excited to see happen. And I've got the greatest confidence in you that's what will happen.
Well, Bob, I just want you to know you don't get to completely write off in the sense that, it's not like I expected you to anyway. You always have a million ideas. I'm counting, on having you around to ask you advice. I know there will be times that will come that I'll need your counsel. I'll definitely, be relying on being able to ask you those things and have you as a guide as I go forward.
So I'd be glad to help you. As far as words of advice, well, there's a few things I've learned along the way, that's for sure. I think it's more in relationships with your partners, your suppliers, with your growers, and the best progress I find I can make with people is just sitting down one-to-one and visiting, looking them in the eye and sensing how they feel.
I agree wholeheartedly and completely that that's about the relationships and the people and working together so that we all benefit.
I appreciate you very much, Trevor, and have all the confidence in the world in you, and wish you great success and great fun along the way. So, my best.
Thanks, Bob. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye now.